What are some jobs that people don't realize exist? I think it's called durability testing or something like that. Anyway, my friend's job is literally to break stuff and see how long it takes. Last I knew he was sandpapering and throwing rocks at solar panels. Bed tester. Yes, you get paid for sleeping and writing a review of the bed after your sleep, so if you are getting shit for being lazy, just tell them I'm working on my career. Wholesale undertakers. They travel to things like natural disasters and plane crashes and take care of the dead bodies. A human is often hired to taste test dog food. They know that dogs don't care about the flavor, dogs will eat poop, but 1 in 6 dog owners will accidentally eat their pet's food. So it has to taste at least a little bit like something edible. Gender identifier. There is always a few people hired at chicken farms whose only job is identifying gender on chickens. All chickens you get on the dinner table are females. Edit. For clarity. Physical penetration testers. From what I've read, they are basically hired to go into organizations and test for possibilities and vulnerabilities in a system that rogue employees can find and exploit to access sensitive information or drugs. Every summer, I work in northern Canada as a full-time tree planter. Myself and others work for a company that gets contracted out by forestry companies and are responsible for replanting everything they cut down, so they can be harvested again in around 40 years. The job is tough as can be, but super rewarding as you get paid per tree. The faster you plant, the more you're gonna make. The majority of planters for my company are students or young, but the amount of seasons you can survive is not often many as you destroy your body. Compost turnover. You sit in a bobcat and flip huge rotten piles of compost so it decomposes effectively. And that's it. That's the job. Sewage divers. People that get paid to dive into full, clogged up sewers. I read some stories about people that did this, mainly in India or other parts of Asia, and they could basically find anything down there. The worst thing a guy saw was body parts of both humans and dogs. Then once it's removed, they get pulled up by a rope that's attached to their suit. They are basically going in the sewer blind and have to follow a guy on a radio who's tracking him through the sewers. Texture artist. A lot of the time, people just lump it under animator. But a good texture artist will make your characters go from uncanny smoothness to amazing and lifelike. And most texture artists can't animate to save their lives. And vice versa. The same could be said for modelers, lighting artists, riggers, etc. They're all very different jobs to animator, but they're all lumped in as the same thing. Radiation divers. These guys go into nuclear fuel storage pools to check their integrity and the integrity of the fuel rods. Believe it or not, they don't get an extremely high dose of radiation because 1, the nuclear material is already decayed a lot from being used as reactor fuel, and 2, water is a good insulator against radiation. After you crash a car and it gets totaled by the insurance company, nobody really knows where the car goes. Some assume it just goes to a junkyard or gets crushed. But there are companies that take those cars and resell/auction them to buyers that want to rebuild them or to get parts. Does auctioning totaled cars count? Fish tank and aquarium cleaners. I know someone who used to be a stockbroker. Now he is self-employed cleaning fish tanks and aquariums, especially for places like nursing homes or medical centers. They like fish tanks but don't know how to maintain or clean them. He is always booked out and it pays well. Boob maker. Yup, I make external prosthetic boobs for mastectomy patients, breast cancer survivor, trans folks, drag queens, etc. I was taking a leak in a urinal the other day and suddenly realized someone designs urinals and toilets for a living. I wonder what their job title is. Professional snuggler. They have this in Japan, I think, where you pay someone to just stay and snuggle with you. A full-time blonde troller for Snoop Dogg. Homeboy gets paid like 40 or 50K to always have some smoke for Snoop because he smokes so much. Content moderator. Whenever you report something, most people think it goes to a computer. Nope, it goes to a person. Chick sexing, https://en, Wikipedia, org/wiki/chick_sexing. It's not as fun as it sounds. Booth cleaner at an adult video store. Japanese porn genital pixelator. Union stagehand. I make bank setting up, running, and taking down those concerts and Broadway theater you love so much. A teacher I had in high school once told us about a friend of his, who is a shit diver. He has to dive in sewage plants and maintain and repair stuff in there. He uses a full body suit, so he doesn't come in contact with all the shit. According to my teacher, it pays incredibly well, as there is not many people who can do it. The shit diver was a combat diver in our army. Before he got this job, experience like this is necessary, because you can't see much when you're surrounded by shit water. Edit, just realized someone else already wrote about this. Food stylist. The amount of people I tell this to who have no clue is astonishing. They're the people who make that Macca burger look absolutely perfect, or those fries hitting the table, or the coffee look nice. That's a food stylist's job, to sell food through advertising, as per the age-old mantra, people eat first with their eyes. Turkey masturbator. Horse masturbator. Bearding is when a woman is paid to pretend to be a gay man's girlfriend. Penguin turner. The thing is that it is almost impossible for a penguin to turn or to stand up if it falls on its back. Many of them are amazed by flying planes and lose their balance because of looking in the sky. They also fall down when the plane lands or takes off near them. I'm a translator/interpreter. People are reluctant to acknowledging the fact that it is a professional skill that requires training, education and calls for decent remuneration. I have experienced so many #choosing beggars situations. Most of the time, companies will hand a translation task to an employee that has /some foreign language skills, but no knowledge of what proper translation entails, or worse. Use Google Translate and it shows in the quality of the result. It is very damageable. People don't realize how much professional writing is important and how it can affect the image of a company. A person who travels around checking that gas stations actually pump 1 gallon of gas when the pump shows that 1 gallon has been pumped. I don't know if this counts, but when I tell people I'm a mechanic, they assume I work on vehicles. I don't. I work on industrial machine used for manufacturing. Royal masturbator. The former king of Portugal actually had one. Food archaeologist. Not sure on the title, but it's basically lessons learned analyst. Lots of US government departments have them. A big project finishes and you pester people to write down what went right, what went wrong, and what could have worked better. Then you take everybody's reports and compile them, literally just copy-paste with some proofreading for grammar and spelling, into one unified and mostly anonymous report. Then the report gets tossed into the archives never to be seen again because it's a government job. But you don't care cause the pay is good to great, depends on what level of government you're working for, and you get federal benefits all for knowing how to control +A-Control+C-Control+V. Light extra, or background actor, for light adjustments. I am a student and a theater near me always looks for people or students. The only thing you do is standing or doing something on the stage while the producer and light assistant adjust the light settings. Gets me €10 per hour. Sometimes they need up to 5 people for 10 hours. Cherry orchard dryer. I met a helicopter pilot once who told me that part of her year is spent living near cherry orchards in Oregon. Apparently cherry trees don't do great when they're wet. So it was her job to be around in case it rained and then to fly low over the orchard to dry it immediately afterwards. I feel like a lot of people overlook that some kid is working at the back of the meat department in every supermarket cleaning up the juices. And it almost always looks like the hallway from The Shining. My BF very briefly had a cleaning type of job, but it's literally cleaning houses of people who died without family/friends. Some of the houses were extremely dirty. He heard the craziest stories from the people he accompanied. Don't read the next 2 if you can't handle it. 1. One house had a toilet that literally had a pile of poop inside the toilet, unable to flush away. Even the walls were covered in poop. 2. Another time, they cleared out an old mattress from the attic, which was wet and heavy. When they went upstairs, again to clear out more stuff, they found porn magazines, which had lots of peeing involved. Cleaning out melted boob implants after a cremation. Pen tester literally get paid to break into and rob places with no legal consequence. I mean, you do have to give the shit back, but be smart about it, and they want notice a little display.